Y'all don't really want it like that. Yeah, here comes the.
Yo, what is going on YouTube, man? Ladies and gentlemen, if you are new here, I'm your host, Calvin-Domingo, aka Steezy Smith, and we in the building, man, on this lovely evening in Seattle. The weather has been absolutely phenomenal, has been just treating me with nothing but justice the last couple of days, and I don't know why the lighting is. I look a little darker. I have been spending some time outside, but man, as per usual, I'm happy to be here. As you guys can see on the thumbnail, I want to talk about Laken Tomlinson. I want to talk about Geno Smith being the fastest at Seahawks OTAs thus far in the offseason. I want to talk about Cooper DeJean. I want to talk about non-offensive linemen potentially being selected by the Seattle Seahawks in the first round of next week's NFL draft. And so for everybody that's been waiting in the chat, to everybody that will tune in, as always, y'all, I mean, you guys are one of the biggest driving forces behind me doing what I do and just being able to put out content for you guys. I got nothing but love for y'all. I hope you guys are having a very, very blessed evening yourself. I know it's such a lovely day outside, man. I mean, who wants to spend time on YouTube when you could be outside soaking up some sunshine? And so again, I hope you guys are able to soak some of that up. And man, I'm gonna start with you guys here in the chat before we kick things off. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that, baby. Yo, okay. Hey, I noticed my guy Not Chief changing up his YouTube channel name or his YouTube username a little bit. What's going on, man? What's going on, little bro, man? What's going on, man? I still got to take care of your shirt. And I'm in the process right now of ordering a medium because you wanted a black one, right? And so I am in the process of doing that. But Not Chief, man, I hope you're having a great day over there in the ATL. I don't know if the weather is just as nice, but, man, I've been soaking up some of that sun. And it hasn't been the hottest, but I think this is the perfect weather. And, you know, I'm having a great day. But Not Chief, in the building, man. I appreciate you for always tuning in, little bro. We got Deshaun Baker also in the building saying, my guy, Steezy Smith in the building. We in the building, man. And to everybody new, if you guys aren't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We just hit 4K. What was it? Sometime last month. And so right now we are on the road to 5K and then 10K. And don't forget to hit that notification bell. I know I don't stress this nearly enough, but don't forget to hit that notification bell. I know a lot of people are constantly asking me, when am I going live? When am I gonna, hop on this show, or when is that show dropping, or when are you doing this? When are you doing that? What I can tell you is hit that notification bell, man, so you don't ever miss a live stream, so you don't ever miss a show. I know for me, with some of the people, some of the channels, some of the content creators that I'm subscribed to, sometimes when I'm going through some of their content, I'm like, yo, I haven't seen this. I know they did this. They went live this day. I know, right? And so I guess for me, I realize I don't usually hit the notification bell, and I need to, right? And so I'm just kind of using that as an example. But for everybody else out there, if you don't ever want to miss an episode, a show, hit that notification bell, man, because I just feel like being subscribed, sometimes that's not enough to be able to see everything, that content creators and that people be pushing out there. And so you hit that notification bell. And if you aren't already subscribed, man, show up, brother, some love. Be sure to hit that subscribe button for your boy. And I'm going to hit the chat one more time, just checking on you guys before we get into the thick of things. Not Chief is saying, hell yeah, it is, bro. Feels good out here, man. Man, that's lovely. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. That's wonderful, bro. That is wonderful. And one more reminder, be sure to follow me on Instagram at SteezySmithTV right now if you aren't already, and you'll be entered into a drawing to win a free dry fit and embroidered Team Steezy tee. I've been showing you guys on the last couple of shows. This one isn't the gym version of the tee. This one's just a regular t-shirt right here. But man, the white look good. White look good with the black embroidery. And if you guys just followed me on Instagram, type just followed you in the chat, and I'll be sure to write your name down live on screen to make sure that your entry is in for the drawing. As I've done here in the last couple of weeks, last couple of shows, got a couple of names written down here. This is from last week, and then this is from the week prior. And so I'm writing these down, making sure that you guys are getting what you deserve. And one last thing, one more reminder, all super chats are greatly appreciated. I'm going to do this every show now. But in regards to super chats, whoever finishes tonight with the highest donation total will receive a free and embroidered custom team Steezy tee. You can choose between black or white. One more time, here it is. Man, I absolutely love these tees. I really do. I done took all my white tees and turned them into Team Steezy tees, man. Oh, man. And then Not Chief is saying, hope the Hawks don't go against Miami in the second game. All I know is if they do, Miami going to give them this work. Miami going to give them this work. All right, you guys. Now that we've gotten some of those things out of the way, I want to start out today's show by talking about Geno Smith being the fastest man at Seahawks OTAs thus far. I know a lot of notable names are missing, and so I can't look at Geno Smith doing what he did right yesterday and just proclaim him as the fastest man on the team. Out of everybody that's showing up, out of everybody that has been present at OTAs, then yeah, he is the fastest among that group. But DK Metcalf wasn't on that list, among other players, right? I didn't get to go through every single name on that list, but DK Metcalf is definitely a notable name that hasn't taken part, at least didn't have a time tested. And so for me, I mean, a lot of people, this was the talk of the town yesterday, not just in Seattle, but across the entire NFL. Man, it's amazing. 12 years into his career, running a top speed of 21.67 miles per hour. Oh my gosh, I don't know what it is, but we all know that, you know, the stigma surrounding the lack of coverage in Seattle sports. And so when I'm looking at Geno Smith, when I'm looking at a Michael Penix Jr., everybody's been doubting these guys when it comes to, especially and particularly, athleticism, their wheels, how fast they are. And I think so far, I mean, in the last couple of weeks, both Michael Penix Jr. and Geno Smith have done a phenomenal, spectacular job of quelling a lot of those concerns, right? And so this isn't everything, but it's also not nothing. It's something, right? And so, again, in case you missed it, Geno Smith, and he posted this himself, right? Being the fastest man at Seahawks OTAs with a top speed of 21.67 miles per hour. Sheesh, Geno. With the defense that hopefully isn't amongst the league's worst, and with an offensive line that has sufficient coaching, I could see Geno Smith having somewhat of a bounce back year. I think he could even have a better year than he did during his comeback player of the year season, his Pro Bowl season a couple of years ago, his first Pro Bowl season. And so, man, this is definitely a great sign of things to come. Like we talked about other notable Seahawk times, Tariq Woolen at 21.53 miles per hour, Jackson Smith-Njigba 21.03 miles per hour, Jake Bobo at 19.57 miles per hour, and then K9 19.17 miles per hour. Again, you guys do what you will with some of these reported numbers and times. I know a lot of people were pointing out the fact that Zach Charbonnet ran a faster time than a K9. That was crazy. That was just crazy. I don't actually think that Zach Charbonnet is faster as far as, or as a potential straight line speed over a Kenneth Walker Jr. Kenneth Walker, excuse me. But I thought that was interesting. Let me know what you guys think in the chat, man. What were you guys' reactions to Geno Smith being the fastest man at Seahawks OTAs? What were some other observations? What were some other takeaways that you guys pulled from some of these test times? Again, it's not everything. It's not also nothing, or it's also not just nothing, right? It's something. And so give me some of y'all reactions, man. I know I'm not the only one hyped over here. Let me know what you guys are thinking, man. For real. Let me know what you guys are thinking, man. Let me go back to the chat over here. We got Parker Hansen in the building, man. Parker, thank you for taking the time to tune in, saying, hey, Steezy, I agree on Geno being better. 1,000%. 1,000%. But, hey, Parker, I appreciate you for taking the time to tune in, man, for real. Happy to have you here. Moving on, though, And real quick, I got one more side topic I want to address. In case you missed it, Iowa do-it-all cornerback Cooper DeJean was in Seattle yesterday for a top 30 visit with the Seattle Seahawks. I forgot, and I apologize to the source. I think his name was Alejandro. He's the one who posted a screenshot of Cooper DeJean's Instagram story on X, and a lot of people have kind of been, you know what I mean, using that for reference in regards to this report. But Cooper DeJean, man, I was on Instagram earlier today. Again, if you weren't already following me, follow me on Instagram at SteezySmith TV. I post on there daily. So for your daily dose of Seahawks content and coverage, you want to make sure you're following me on Instagram at SteezySmith TV. Going back to what I was talking about, though, with a Cooper DeJean, oh my gosh. I mean, this dude, yes, he's listed as a cornerback, but he's also, he's been a safety, right? He spent some time. There are some snaps at linebacker. He's a phenomenal and exceptional punt returner. He's a do-it-all player at cornerback. Now, I know some scouts have expressed their concern about his transition to the NFL and whether or not he could hold up at cornerback. And so a lot of people are saying, oh, his future in the NFL is at safety. All I know is if he was to be on the Seattle Seahawks, he could potentially be in that Kyle Hamilton role where he's literally used all over the formation. He could play in a nickel. He could play on the outside as a cornerback. He could play and be a patroller right deep as a safety. We've seen him line up at linebacker. His ferocity, his tenacity, his physicality, his aggressiveness, his energy. It's infectious as a punt returner. His punt return he's electric as a returner. He could literally do everything. And that sounds like a Devin Witherspoon, right? But he could do a lot of things on a football field, not just on defense, but also on special teams. And so Cooper DeJean is a guy that I'm looking at as a potential target for the Seattle Seahawks if they were to move down from 16 and still have a pick in the first round. Now, at 16th overall, that might be a little too rich, given some of the needs and given some of the other players that could potentially still be on the board. But once again, Cooper DeJean, man, visiting Seattle, obviously there's a lot of interest, hopefully on both sides, right? But on Seattle's end of things, Seattle does have interest in a Cooper DeJean. And with his do-it-all versatility, with his ability to do everything on the football field, particularly on the defensive side of the ball, man, I think he'd be more of a luxury pick. But Mike McDonald, being the defensive coach that he is, if he wants to solely focus on defense and if he thinks that Cooper DeJean can be special in the National Football League, which a lot of scouts, a lot of draft pundits believe that he can be, then, man, I wouldn't be mad at the pick. And I know right now some people are already saying that the Seahawks have the best cornerback trio in the National Football League with the Rick Woolen, Devin Witherspoon, and the Trey Brown. If Cooper DeJean were to come in alongside those three, alongside a Julian Love and whoever else Seattle may come away with in the draft at defensive back, Kayvon Wallace, give it a year or two, and this defense could go back to being one of the very best in the National Football League. But again, though, in case you guys missed it, Iowa do-it-all defensive back Cooper DeJean was in Seattle yesterday for a top 30 visit with the Seahawks. Do what you will with that information. I want to get some of your guys' reactions and thoughts here on that visit before I do move on to the meat of the show. So, chat, let me know what y'all think, man. Don't be shy. Don't be shy, man. We got Sajin in the building, man. Sajin is saying, what's good, brother, man? I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing fabulous. I hope you're having a lovely day. Sajin, I don't remember. Are you local? Are you local at all? Because if you are, I know you're seeing just how beautiful it is here in Seattle. The weather has just been doing this so right. I mean, it's just been so righteous, and it's just been doing me justice, as with everybody else, right, in the area. But I hope you're able to soak up some of this sunshine. And Sajin, man, bless you, my good brother. Thanks for tuning in, truly. We also got Rhea in the building saying, what's good, Calvin? Maria, man, one of my bigger supporters, one of my favorites as well. I hope you're having a lovely day. I hope you're enjoying the sunshine. I mean, I know you're a local, and I know you're able to see what's going on out there outside. And so I hope you've been able to soak up some sunshine, and I'm happy to have you here as always. Thank you, Rhea. Okay, we got our first question in the building, man. Devo is asking, how do you feel about Seattle drafting Jared Verse if he's available at 16? I will reveal my non-offensive line Seattle Seahawks big board later on in the show. So you guys be sure to stay tuned. Be sure to stay tuned. I'm not going to take too long to reveal my top 5 big board. And so, Devo, I will answer your question later on in the show. Just be sure to stay tuned. What I will say right now, though, is Jared Verse is in the top 2 in my non-offensive lineman Seattle Seahawks big board. If I had to give my overall big board, or at least the landscape of what that overall big board is looking like, Jared Verse is in the top 5. He's in the top 5. He might even creep up into the top 3, but I'm in love with the Jared Verse and how he could potentially fit with the Seattle Seahawks. I know edge isn't exactly the biggest need, but again, I think the value would be too good to pass up. I mean, he was just an absolute monster at FSU these last couple of years, and he can stop the run, right? The Seahawks have been one of the worst, if not the worst, run defense these last couple of seasons. He can help shore up that aspect, right, of the defense. And yeah, Jared Verse, I'd be very ecstatic if he were to land in Seattle. So Devo, just kind of answer your question right now. I'd be in love with it. Matter of fact, I'm a big proponent of it if Seattle doesn't go offensive line. Truly, I think he can be that good. Next to Chana Owosu, Boye Mafe, Seattle was already a top 10, top 12 team. And I know that game against the Giants definitely and what's the word? It definitely made that total tally look a little higher. It was a little inflated, right? But Seattle was still nevertheless top 10, top 12 in total sacks as a team last year. And so you add Jared Verse to that group. You expect improvements from a Darrell Taylor, from a Derek Hall. Boy, Mafe is only going to get better. I mean, Seattle could have the best pass rush as early as 2026 if Jared Verse were to come to Seattle. And so, man, options galore. I keep saying that, but options galore for the Seattle Seahawks. Options galore. Not Chief is asking, you think Geno's going to have one of his best seasons this year? I truly do. I truly do. I think the defense, at the very least, is going to be competent, and I think it's going to be closer to league average as opposed to hovering around the bottom of the league as one of the worst defenses in football. I think that in and of itself is going to be a huge help as it pertains to Geno Smith having a bounce back type of season. And so you take that into consideration, coupled with the fact that the offensive line, there's nowhere to go but up. Yes, injuries played a part in the offensive line being the mess that it was last year, but you add an Iron Man and a Laken Tomlinson, who we will dive into here shortly. Charles Cross, who could be elite by the end of next year. Abe Lucas, if healthy, is obviously an above average right tackle in the National Football League. Olu Oluwatimi, who I have high hopes for at center, is going to help hold it down in the interior. So these factors, the defense going to be better. The offensive line going to be better. The weapons still there. The run game is only going to be better with the offensive line getting better. Everything is going to get better. Coaching could perhaps even be better. And so, yes, Geno Smith is going to have a career year. Yes. Great question, though, not Chief. Okay, Rio over here saying my case came in and it looks good on my phone. See, Rio, I totally forgot that you even ordered a case. You know, if you could send me a picture on Instagram or via DMs, maybe even on Snapchat, Rio, of what that case looks like, because I'm not even gonna lie to you, I don't even have a Steezy case yet, and so I want to see what that looks like. I'm glad that you like it though, Rio, and I really truly appreciate you supporting and copping the case. That's dope, man. You got something I don't even have, but Rio, I appreciate that for real. Sajin is saying, I think we will be a thorn in the NFL this season. No. Oh, not local, but we'll vacation there after I go home to San Diego in July for a week. Okay, well, give me a holla. Sajin, give me a holla. I agree. I do agree with your point, though. I do think that the Seattle Seahawks can be a thorn in the side of a lot of opponents. I'm not going to predict a playoff appearance just because I do think that the NFC is going to be a lot better than what we've seen these last couple of years. But I will say that Seattle is going to be a team that a lot of teams are not going to be looking forward to playing. Like, truly, I think that the Seahawks can be not only a thorn on the side of a lot of opposing teams, but I do think that Seattle will surprise as it pertains to improvements on the offensive line, improvements on the defensive side of the ball, finally having an identity again. So all those things contributing, yes, I think that Seattle will be a thorn on the side of a lot of teams. And Seattle's going to be in a lot of games. Like, I don't see the Seahawks team being a team that's just going to be pushed around. They'll be blown out. They'll get blown out. They'll just get walked all over on, right, by elite teams, because that has happened these last couple of years. And so I don't believe that that'll be an issue moving forward. And Sajin, you raise a great point. Let me bring that up one more time. You raise a great point there. So thank you for doing that. We got Doom Moose in the building saying Esky joining in from sunny Alaska. Doom, man. Well, thank you for tuning in. I hope you're having a lovely day. It's sunny over there. Shoot, it's sunny over here. So, we're having the same sort of experience as it pertains to the weather, and I'm happy to have you here, truly. Now, Chief is saying can't forget about Mike Morris, right? And he has experience working under and being coached up by Mike McDonald. He's also been around Jay Harbaugh, who is the special teams coordinator for the Seahawks. Obviously, it's a different aspect, a different phase of the game, but having that continuity, that familiarity, I don't think it'll hurt. But Mike Morris, I was high on him last year, and man, I can't wait to see what he's going to come out with this season. I think, man, oh my gosh, a lot of pieces to work with. Deshaun Baker. Okay, Deshaun Baker with a hot take off the rip, man. D could be top 5 this year. I'm not too sure about top 5 just because the Seahawks defense, and I'm going to just go out and say it, has been the worst in football these last couple of years. Not in terms of talent. There's plenty of talent, all 3 levels of the field or of the team, right, on defense. But to take a step all the way from the bottom all the way into the top 5, that's going to be monumental. That's going to be historic. I'm not saying they're not capable of that, but that's a huge leap to take. I wouldn't be opposed to anybody who thinks that because Mike McDonald is a genius. He's an innovator. He is a schematic wizard on that side of the ball. But I do think that, we see how we got to take some baby steps first. But, man, that's a hot take, though. Talk about a hot take, man. Devo is asking, where will Kobe Bryant play this year? I hear they like him at safety, but he was drafted as a cornerback, so I'm just wondering how they will use him this year. Honestly, Devo, it sounds like a cop-out, but until OTAs, until the later parts or later portion of the off-season program kind of comes into play, we won't truly know right now. I do think that he will see time at safety. He will see time at cornerback, but the cornerback room is just so stacked, man. I mean, his best opportunity at receiving immediate playing time, if he can excel in that new position, will be at safety, though. I will say that I do think that he can still be used at nickel. But, man, again, there's so many defensive backs for Seattle to work with. Devo, again, to answer your question, I think if he wants to see immediate playing time, it's going to have to be at safety, but he'll still see time as a nickel back, and he'll see some time at cornerback as well. We got All Around Sports in the building, man. Hey, howdy. Hey, Steezy, man. All Around Sports, man. Happy to have you here. Thanks for tuning in. The Seahawks are going to be a scary team if they could gel early. Oh, without a doubt, man. Without a doubt. Again, like Sajin mentioned, let me bring that up just real quick. And we understand what you're trying to say here, but Sajin was saying that he thinks that the Seahawks are going to be a thorn on the side of a lot of teams in the NFL. And if they end up making the playoffs in a year where they're not necessarily expected to do so, oh boy. Come 2026, man, this team is going to be scary. We got Young Meesh in the building saying, what up, Steezy? Hope all is well, brother. Young Meesh, first and foremost, thank you for taking the time to tune in. Hope you're having a blessed day. Man, on this side of things, it's been more than just well for me. Again, I'm just happy. I'm just blessed to be here. It's a beautiful day outside. You look good. You feel good. I got you guys tuning in. We're over here talking Seahawks, man. So, yeah, it's been more than just well over here. Young Meesh, I'm happy to see you. Happy to have you. And thanks for taking the time to tune in, man, for real. Sajin is saying 2026. Oh, but there's a correction. 2027 Seahawks Super Bowl. I'm actually go ahead and Sajin and say that you were right the first time. 2026, baby. All Around Sports is asking, what do you think the big need is for our first round pick? I'm still going to say it's the interior of the offensive line, but if Seattle doesn't deem there to be enough value with whatever their selection is in the first round, then I wouldn't mind it being on the defensive line or at edge rusher. We got Tika Smooth in the building, man. That's my guy, Giovanni, man. Vonnie in the building. What's going on, brother? Man, happy to have you here, my brother. I hope you're having a blessed day, and thanks for tuning in, bro, for real. He's saying that defense can be top 10 and 15. So right around league average, definitely a huge step up, a huge step forward from the debacle that has been the last couple of years. And I agree 1,000%, especially with the defensive-minded head coach, the youngest head coach in the league, a very innovative and creative mind. Yeah, I agree with that 1,000%. 1,000%. Vonnie is saying offense can be crazy. Depends on what we do in the draft until preseason. Oh, yeah. I mean, a lot of the pieces are already in place. I mean, at pass catcher, the team is loaded. DK Metcalf, Jackson Smith and Jigba. I believe Noah Fant will have a career year. Tyler Lockett, of course, is still there. K9 and Zach Charbonnet at running back. Geno Smith has all the weapons that he needs. The offensive line just needs to step up. Coaching staff needs to step up. Defense needs to step up. Offense is going to be all right. As long as Ryan Grubb can acclimate, and I believe he will. I believe he will. Young Meach is saying, Corbin said we didn't have Byron Murphy. Oh, we didn't have Byron Murphy in for a top 30 visit, but we visited with T'Vondre Sweat. And for what it's worth, the Seahawks did meet with Byron Murphy at the combine, right? I know that seems like ages ago, but that kind of sort of somewhat counts for or as a visit, right? And so, yeah, Seattle did meet with T'Vondre Sweat. And again, they did meet with Byron Murphy at the combine for what that's worth. Sean Baker is saying, don't forget about Kenny McIntosh, right? He's essentially a rookie this season just because last year was essentially a wash, right? I mean, yeah, he might have been active for a few games, but we just didn't see a lot. So I think that he's essentially going into this year as a rookie. Could also make an impact on special teams. I don't know if he'll win the punt return job just because right now that is open. I think Laviska Shenault has a chokehold at the kick returner spot, but Kenny McIntosh, man. Oh, yeah, I can't wait to see how Seattle will deploy him. Obviously, he has a lot of strengths. Aside from just being a pure running back, he can catch the football, catch passes out of the backfield. Again, has value on special teams. We'll see what happens there. But, man, Seattle has so much talent on offense already. Gosh. All Around Sports is saying our defense has potential and young, talented players. I'm excited to see what Donald can do in his defense. With this defense, 1,000%. 1,000%. Happy Taco Tuesday, man. Happy Taco Tuesday, man. I feel like I haven't had a taco in a while. But thanks for the reminders, Vonnie. Thanks for that. And Vonnie's also agreeing with me. Can't be top 5, but I know we can be one of the most improved defenses this upcoming season. 1,000. Well said. I couldn't have said it better myself. Brandon in the building, man. What's going on, Brandon? Brandon is suggesting trade down or defense. I'm with that. And if Seattle does trade down in the first round, I do believe that they'll do that in hopes of acquiring 1 or 2 picks on day 2, right? So either in the second or third round, I do believe that Seattle does trade down. They will acquire 1 or 2 more picks on day 2. Sajid now is saying, man, love to see what K-Mac brings to the field. Oh, yeah. I know that I certainly was, but there were other why did I say other twice? There were other journalists and just local media that were raving about a Kenny McIntosh last off season. I remember just watching him over at training camp. I loved what he brought to the table. I mean, his explosiveness, again, his ability to catch passes out of the backfield, his versatility, what he's able to do on and contribute on special teams. Ooh, yeah, let's go K-Mac, baby. Let's go K-Mac. Everybody seems to share that sentiment. I'm excited for Kenny. Can't wait to see what they do with them. Nah, for real. And in All Around Sports, agreed. Lots of potential. Yes. Young Meach is saying, can training camp come any faster? I'm ready to see Seahawks football again. Man, time has been going so slow, I feel like, these last couple of weeks. But Young Meach, before that, got to get through the draft first. There's going to be a whole lot of draft coverage after the draft. And so once all that kind of has taken place, then training camp will come. I hope to see some of y'all there. All Around Sports, talking spicy. All Around Sports is saying we are going to give the Niners a run for their money this season. Man, that's a crazy take. It's obviously not out of the realm of possibility, but I wouldn't be opposed to that happening. I'm not going to put money on it. I do think that Seattle will play them tough. I do think that Seattle can steal a game or 2 away from the Niners, but as far as overtaking them for the division, I think Seattle still has some steps to take. But as far as playing them tough and giving them a run for their money, I'm with that. Great take. I will go back to you guys here in the chat, but I do want to touch and kind of get into the thick of things as it pertains to this show. So we've talked about Geno Smith being the fastest man at Seahawks OTAs thus far. We talked about Cooper DeJean taking that visit and being in Seattle yesterday. Before we get to Laken Tomlinson, though, I do think that it's important to note, according to John Schneider himself, the Seahawks' final day to host all the top 30 visits is this Thursday, April 18th. And so I wouldn't be surprised if in the next day or so, there are more reports of whoever Seattle is planning on bringing in for pre-draft visits. But I think for the most part, and if I'm not mistaken, Seattle has already hosted 22 out of the 30 prospects that they're permitted to bring in for a top 30 visit. And so I do expect that number to go up in the coming days. And once again, this is according to John Schneider himself. This was on the Seattle Sports Station on the John Schneider Show last Thursday. If you guys want to go back and watch that interview, I thought it was a great interview. Great personality, man. I can't wait to have John Schneider on this show and interview him live for all of you guys to see. We'll definitely make that happen. That's a promise. Laken Tomlinson, though, and I did pose this question on the thumbnail, as you guys can. For that thumbnail, just a couple of things that I want to point out, right, about Laken Tomlinson. He hasn't missed a game since 2017. So it's been over 7 years since Seattle's newest left guard has missed a game. And it just so happened to be the only missed game of his career when he was with the San Francisco 49ers. You guys have probably seen this all over the internet now, but Tomlinson has had 138 starts for 3 teams over 9 seasons. He was selected with the 28th overall pick by the Detroit Lions back in 2015. Had a rocky start to his career in Detroit, but as soon as he was traded to San Francisco, his career took off. As you guys might or might not know, he is a one-time Pro Bowler, which was back in 2021. During his time in San Francisco, his ability and capabilities in pass blocking and pass protection, it improved significantly, tremendously. And again, he was next to Trent Williams when he earned that Pro Bowl nod. And so I do think that's important to note. Tomlinson's 1-year deal with the Seahawks is worth up to $4 million. And being that he's played primarily and almost exclusively at left guard throughout the entirety of his career, I think it's safe to say that he's probably not going to be seen anytime at right guard. I do think that if the flashes that we saw last year and the potential that he flashed prior to being drafted, if Seattle is to see more of that on a consistent basis, Anthony Bradford can lock up that right guard spot. But I think right now it's safe to say that Laken Tomlinson, he should be a penciled-in starter at left guard. And if Charles Cross can be that elite left tackle that he was projected to be coming out of the 2021 draft, then maybe we see something similar. Maybe, and perhaps we see Laken Tomlinson not only return to 2021 form, but perhaps we could see a career season out of Laken Tomlinson. I know the last couple of years with the New York Jets, it has been an absolute and just a complete disaster. My gosh, just going over that 2022 film, I was able to watch some of those games. It was just an absolute nightmare. Last year was a little bit better, right? While he was with the Jets. And it wasn't just for cap purposes that he was released. His play on the field, lack of awareness from time to time was just severely and sorely lacking last year. But I do believe that, again, the infrastructure in Seattle, the coaching staff, the surrounding talent, the team that he's playing for, I think a lot of that is going to play a big factor in him having a bounce back type of performance. Just because if he was to play anything along the lines of what we saw last year with the New York Jets or the last couple of seasons with the New York Jets, then heck, Seattle better make sure they leave this draft with a Troy Fautanu or a Jackson Powers Johnson or a Graham Barton. Otherwise, it is going to be trouble. Jeez, but moving along, Laken Tomlinson, for those of you guys that are subscribed or have a Pro Football Focus subscription, you guys have probably already seen this, but if you don't, then allow me to share some of this PFF wealth or knowledge with you guys. According to Pro Football Focus here, as you guys can see, Tomlinson was graded as the 53rd best guard out of 79 by PFF last season. Aside from durability and the experience that he has at left guard, nothing from the last 2 seasons suggests that he's going to be an above average starter for the Seattle Seahawks moving forward at the left guard spot. But like I just talked about, the improved infrastructure and stability of the franchise as a whole. When you compare the Jets and the Seahawks are in a different stratosphere. The Jets don't even compare to the Seahawks when it comes to quality of a franchise and how well ran, how respected the franchise is, right? And so I think when you consider the fact that he's not going to be playing for the Jets anymore, I mean, I think that's a step up, right? I mean, he can't get any worse than he has been these last couple of years. He also showed signs of improvement from his first season with the Jets in pass protection. Matter of fact, according to Pro Football Focus, I mean, he actually had a higher pass grade than he did in run blocking. And so I think that's a great thing, right, for the Seattle Seahawks. And like we have been talking about, I mean, he's been an absolute Iron Man, only missing 9 offensive snaps over the last 5 seasons. And so on top of experience, on top of the durability, I mean, there are other things working for him, but I think with him kind of coming in as that Iron Man, as a source of stability, you know that he's going to hold it down there. If performance-wise, if he's not the best, I mean, he's going to be available. And for the Seattle Seahawks, injuries have been a thorn on their side of things, right, on the offensive line. And so if he's not going to be penciled in as a starter, at the very least, he provides great depth and great insurance. One more stat here, though. And this is according to ESPN's Brady Henderson, who does a magnificent job covering the Seattle Seahawks for ESPN. This is courtesy of him. Tomlinson, though, finished 34th among all guards, left or right, in pass block win rate in 2023, and also ranks 27th among all offensive guards in the last 3 seasons. So nothing special, nothing crazy, but also this is better than what Seattle has had at guard these last couple of years. And so do what you will with all this information, with some of these stats, but I do think that Seattle did a great job of bringing in quality depth / a body that can't start prior to the draft. So I do see that the chat is popping here a little bit. So I'm going to go back to you guys here in the chat before we move on the show. I'm going to know what you guys think, man. I want to know what you guys think. Brandon is saying, I feel like I've just assumed trading down every year. It feels like it happens all the time with John LMAO. Yeah, I mean, I think because of the possibility of a quarterback frenzy happening, that only increases the value of Seattle's 16th overall pick. And so if Seattle were to trade down, I'd assume that they could get quite the haul from trading down. Obviously, it'd have to make sense, not just for the team that's trading up, but for the Seahawks as well. But as long as Seattle's acquiring, I think if Seattle can acquire still a late first round pick and then a pick or two, extra pick or two on day 2, then it'll be worth it. It'll be more than worth it to trade down. If Fonnie's saying basketball season is boring, what? I'd have to disagree, man, respectfully. But football need a hurry. All Around Sports is saying, I'm a Georgia fan. I love what I saw from McIntosh. He's going to be a great secret weapon. Hey, y'all, well, you heard it here from a Georgia fan. Ooh. Oh, yeah. That only adds to the excitement now, does it? Sajin is saying, I feel so dope with our moves thus far. Can't wait for the NFL draft. I think that's everyone else's feeling. That's how everyone else is feeling. And so, Sajin, yes. Vonnie is saying Seahawks revenge season, above 500 this season. I think they'd hover around 500. That's for sure. That's for sure. Okay, we got 206 Boelt in the building, and I apologize if I'm saying that wrong. They're asking if I live in Seattle. I most definitely do. I most definitely live in Seattle, and so I'm in the scene. I'm on the field. I'm kind of tapped in with what's going on, not just in sports, right, but with a lot of things that's going on around the city. But yes, to answer your question, I do live in Seattle. Happy to have you here, and thanks for tuning in. Okay, All Around Sports is clarifying the comment from earlier. I don't think we are going to win the division, but I do think they win a game against the Niners. Bingo. Deshaun Baker, Steezy, I think you should do a live mock draft. Your thoughts? So I think it was on, what was it? It was on a show like a month ago. I did do a live mock draft, but just in the first round. It was towards the end of the show. There weren't as many people tuned in. And so I might have to do that on a show just before the draft. But Deshaun, I appreciate the suggestion. Okay, Young Meech here bringing up WNBA, but Caitlin Clark went number 1 overall to the Indiana Fever. That's the first time I ever watched the WNBA draft. Same for a lot of people. I mean, I think the WNBA hit, what was it, over 2.5 million viewers? And I think that broke the career high that was set back in 2004. So, yeah, man, I'll definitely be watching a lot more WNBA games. The Fever are going to be playing the Seattle Storm, and I think that's going to be in Seattle later this summer. So I'm definitely hoping to be there for sure. And Sajin saying, I don't want to be swept again by any team. I think that's how everyone else is feeling. Whew. Oh, and Sajin here with the baseball update. Thank you. Because I was trying to figure it out myself here, but it's still 0-0. Mariners and Reds, bottom of the fourth. I will be at the Mariners game tomorrow at 1:10 p.m. at T-Mobile Park against the Reds. And so if anybody's going to that Mariners game tomorrow, let me know, man. Let me know. All Around Sports is asking who won between the Lakers and the Pelicans. Okay, the Lakers won. So they'll be playing the Nuggets as the 7th seed in the first round of the playoffs. That is going to be a very, very, very intriguing series. I can't wait to see what comes of it. I don't have the Lakers topping the Nuggets in a 7-game series, the defending champs, but I think it'll be a hard-fought battle. It'll be a hard-fought battle for sure. Okay, so the Lakers won. Yep. So the Nuggets versus Lakers. Lakers getting swept? I don't believe so. I think it'll be a battle. It'll be a battle. At least 6 games. I will say that. Michael Jordan is the GOAT. I do agree. Another MLB update. Shout out to you and thank you, Sajin. Mariners are up 1. Okay, 1-0. Let's go, baby. Caitlin Clark is going to be a star being paired with Boston. Watch out. Oh, yeah. She was always meant to be a superstar, regardless of who, and respectfully, regardless of who was going to be around her. But yeah, she's transcendent. I love watching her play, man, for real. But chat, we're over here talking about the NBA. We're over here talking about the Mariners. What do you guys think about the Laken Tomlinson signing? I mean, I understand it's not breaking news, right? The signing was finalized yesterday. But again, you guys, I want to know, chat, let me know what you guys think, man. Laken Tomlinson, do you guys think that the signing of a Laken Tomlinson, does that mean that Seattle doesn't have to draft offensive line in the first round? Let me know what you guys think. Because I will say this. I don't believe the signing of Tomlinson precludes the Seahawks from drafting the best offensive lineman with this first-round pick. But what I will say is that Tomlinson does provide insurance in case Seattle is so enamored with a non-offensive lineman prospect in the first round. And I think, again, timing sort of plays a role in why I believe what I currently believe. Tomlinson was released by the Jets all the way back in February. It was towards the end of the February. It was prior to the league year even starting up. And so why wait till just a few weeks prior to the draft to sign him to a deal worth up to $4 million? Yes, I get it. You had other priorities. You had other guys in free agency that you wanted to look at. But I don't think that it's a coincidence that in the midst of Seattle hosting all these draft prospects for top 30 visits, you brought in a bunch of guys on the defensive side of the ball and a bunch of guys that are projected to go in the first round. And so it's not like I don't think that Seattle could reasonably expect a lot of these guys that they're bringing in for visits, at least the top tier prospects, right? I don't think that Seattle can expect for them to still be there in the second round or in the third round because Seattle doesn't have a second round pick yet, right? But I do believe, again, timing does play a part here. I think that with all the defensive prospects amongst, the other prospects that the Seahawks have brought in, I think that Seattle has started to fall in love with some of these non-offensive line type of prospects. And so I think with Tomlinson, again, he provides the Seahawks with insurance. I think that here, and let me just pull up my theory. The more visits the Seahawks have hosted with these prospects, the more that they're beginning to realize that they're enamored with these elite defensive prospects. And so with the Laken Tomlinson, his signing works as a hedge in the event that Seattle bypasses an offensive lineman in the first round and addresses another position instead, which is likely to be on defense. And so you don't exit the first round of the draft with the cupboard fully bare at left guard. Does that make sense, y'all? Does that make sense? And thankfully, this draft class is loaded at offensive line, meaning that Seattle could still target and potentially even double dip with its next few picks, assuming they're able to trade down, right? And so I don't think that it's the end of the world if the Seahawks were to skip out on going after an offensive lineman in the first round, just because, again, some of these prospects on defense, Jared Verse, Byron Murphy, Johnny Newton, Cooper DeJean. Oh, man, these guys, especially to Mike McDonald, they had to be licking their chops. I know that they're salivating over some of these guys. And like I just talked about, this draft class is loaded at the offensive line or in the offensive line, at offensive line. And so if the Seahawks are able to acquire more picks, you have more bites at the apple. You have more opportunities. Yes, they might not be elite prospects come day 2, come day 3. But again, if the Seahawks are in love with some of these aforementioned defensive prospects and they elect to address the offensive line later, Laken Tomlinson does work as a hedge. And if coached up properly, and we believe that to be the case, we believe that will be the case in Seattle. I believe in a Scott Huff. I believe in a Ryan Grubb, whose primary background on offense began with the offensive line. And so, as you guys might have saw in his press conference, he put a lot of emphasis on the offensive line. Mike McDonald brought him in, partially because of that emphasis that he does place on the offensive line, on offensive line play, and just his background with offensive linemen. And so, to answer that question on the thumbnail, to kind of get into the meat, into the thick of things for today's show, for tonight's show, it's all about having a hedge, right? And Tomlinson signing does work as a hedge in the event that Seattle bypasses an offensive lineman in the first round and addresses another position, which I just said will most likely be on defense. Talk to me, y'all. Talk to me, man. What we thinking, man? What we thinking, chat? What we thinking, chat? What we thinking, chat? I'm a Vegas Golden Knights fan for NHL because I'm native. Okay. Interesting. Sajin is saying Tomlinson gives us depth. Okay. All Around Sports is asking, hey, Steezy, do you have any pets? I do. I'm a big dog guy. The family, we do have a pit bull, and his name is Kobe. Young Mish is saying, I feel like Laken is a good signing, extra depth, and could possibly push for the starting guard spot. No doubt. I mean, when you look at the contract, I know it's not crazy money, but for a deal worth up to $4 million, that's, and for the Seahawks, right? That's starting guard money, especially if what we've seen the last 5 to 6, 7 years, if that's any indication, then they just gave him starter money. And so unless he gets beat out in training camp by whoever they bring in via the draft, he's probably going to start at left guard. Okay, Cooper DeJean. I've been getting information that the Seahawks could go get Cooper DeJean. Do you think the Seahawks draft him? I think a lot of things would have to happen for that to happen, but I think the interest is real on both sides, right? And I do think that it's very feasible that Seattle could go after and draft a Cooper DeJean. Again, he would instantly be the starting punt returner. He could be the future at safety. Oh my gosh. In sub packages, he could play as a linebacker. He could play in the slot, outside. I mean, he's just such a weapon. He'd be a smaller version of a Kyle Hamilton in Seattle. I truly believe that. See, even Young Meach is over here. Cooper DeJean with Devin Witherspoon and Reek One would feed families, and Cooper could play safety in the box and slot, and also as a linebacker, like I just said, in sub packages. And so he could, again, it's like a Devin Witherspoon. Like, they're literally interchangeable. They could do anything and everything on a football field. And so there's a lot that could potentially happen, or there's a lot that had to happen for Cooper DeJean to land in Seattle. But I think it's very possible. I think it's very feasible. I think it's somewhat realistic, and I wouldn't put it past the Seahawks to make a move like that. I really wouldn't. All Around Sports is saying, I think the Seahawks' main focus should be on run defense and get a defensive tackle, primarily either Murphy or Jenkins. And that actually brings me to my next point, All Around Sports, because I think that interior defensive line is a bigger need than Seahawks fans realize. Both Jaron Reed and Leonard Williams will be 30 or older when the season comes around. And Draymond played better as a 3/4 tech, right? I don't think that he can thrive when he's, playing closer inside. But I do think that he excels when he's more of a 3 tech, when he's more of a 4 tech. And so when you consider the fact that Jaron Reed and Leonard Williams, they'll both be 30 or older when the season comes around, Draymond is better positioned to excel as a 3 or a 4 tech. Jonathan Hankins is also 32 years old. And so you kind of take all those things into consideration. Defensive tackle, the defensive line is a bigger need than fans realize. It truly is. And so that's why I wouldn't be against a Jared Verse or a Byron Murphy. I really wouldn't. Let me just actually bring it up. Speaking of that, here are Steezy's top 5 non-offensive line Seahawks big board. Y'all ready? 1A, Byron Murphy. 1B, Jared Verse. 3, Jerzon Newton. 4, Cooper DeJean. And then 5 is a tie, man. I really couldn't even break this up, but 5 is Chop Robinson / Layatu Latu. And for those of you guys that might not know, Layatu Latu did spend the first 3 seasons of his college career with the Huskies. And so he knows a thing or two about Seattle. And a lot of pundits, a lot of draft pundits are saying that aside from Jared Verse, because Dallas Turner, he's going to wow you more so with traits and, excuse me, with traits and his athleticism. But Layatu Latu could be the best pure pass rusher in this draft class. Yes, there are going to be concerns with the neck, but the last couple of years at UCLA, I mean, he's just been an absolute menace. He's been healthy, and as long as he can kind of bypass some of those medical concerns that some teams are sure to have, man, he could be a devastating pass rusher in the National Football League. Layatu Latu, I actually saw his pro player comp on NFL.com, and they're comparing him to a TJ Watt. Now, I need to watch some more film to make such a lofty comparison, but man, if he's to be anywhere near what a TJ Watt has been in the National Football League, I mean, my gosh, whatever team ends up getting a Layatu Latu, ooh boy. Talk to me though, chat, man. You guys are shy today, man. Why you guys so shy? Why you guys so quiet, man? Let me get back to you guys here in the chat, man. What we thinking, man? Sajin, because of my travels concerning my job, who are potential draft picks realistically? I think I just answered your question, Sajin. If it's not an offensive lineman, I'm gonna bring up my big board real quick. I think it has to be. Actually, matter of fact, y'all, I'm gonna put money that if it's not an offensive lineman, that the Seahawks will leave the first round with one of these guys. Again, Byron Murphy, Jared Verse, Johnny Newton, Cooper DeJean, Chop Robinson, or Layatu Latu. If it's not an offensive line, it's going to be one of these prospects. I can almost guarantee y'all. And I know there aren't any guarantees or assurances when it comes to the NFL draft just because there are so many smoke screens being thrown around. But I can guarantee and I will assure you guys, I'm willing to put money on this. It will be any of these guys if it's not an offensive lineman in the first round. Mark my words. I hope that answers your question, though, Sajin. All Around Sports is saying, I think if we get a safety, my targets are James Williams, Cam Kitchens, Sione Vaki, and Jaden Hicks. Great list. And one of my mock drafts that I did with the Hawk Zone Rundown, if you guys saw, if you guys saw my appearance, my guest appearance on the Hawk Zone Rundown, we actually ended up with both James Williams and Jaden Hicks in that mock draft. And so All Around Sports, I think those are great targets. And All Around Sports is saying great list. Well, thank you. Sajin with the NBA update. Thank you. Ooh, Sacramento up by 11 with 7 minutes to go in the second quarter. 41-30. Thank you, Sajin. My good brother, man. All Around Sports, TJ Watt is a beast. If Latu is available, take him. We need that type of playmaker on defense. Oh, yeah. Doom Moose is saying, Steezy, you owe me a shirt if it doesn't happen to be any of those guys you just said. You know what? I'm going to hold you to that. That's a bet. I'm going to keep that in mind as well. And matter of fact, let me write that down. I owe you, Doom Moose, a shirt in Seattle. But again, this is what I said, though. Because there was a disclaimer. If Seattle doesn't, keyword doesn't, if Seattle doesn't draft an offensive lineman in the first round, it will be one of those guys. And so, Dune, if Seattle ends up drafting an offensive lineman in the first round, then the bet's off. But if it's not an offensive lineman, it's going to be one of those guys. So, yes, we have a deal. I'm going to write your name down, though. I don't know if you can see that, Doom, but I got you right here. Okay, yeah, there you go. Gotcha. We'll go with your disclaimer. Deal. That's a bet. Sajin with another update, and it's a tied game between the Mariners and the Reds. Okay, middle of the 5th inning. Thank you, Sajin. Thank you. Okay, while I have that board up here, real quick, you guys, I'm going to take a pause in the show just to kind of, I guess, promote myself. If you guys don't mind. One more time, if you guys aren't already, y'all, because I do post daily on Instagram, follow me on Instagram at SteezySmith right now if you aren't already, and you'll be entered into a drawing to win a free Steezy tee. And if you just followed me on Instagram, type "just followed you" in the chat, and I'll be sure to write your name down live on screen to make sure your entry is in for the drawing. And if you guys don't use Instagram, but you want an opportunity to win a free Steezy tee, as always, all super chats are greatly appreciated. It don't matter what the donation amount is, but in regards to super chats, whoever finishes tonight with the highest donation total. So as of right now, there hasn't been a super chat yet. And so if somebody were to donate $5 and I end tonight's show with just that one super chat of $5, you would automatically win a free Steezy tee. So one more time, in regards to super chats, whoever finishes tonight with the highest donation total will receive a free custom team Steezy tee. Look at that, man. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that, man. That's too fire, man. That's too fire. I hate to toot my own horn, but that tee is absolute fire. So one more time, all super chats are greatly appreciated, and whoever has the highest donation total tonight or before the end of this show will receive a free tee. Obviously, you get to choose the size, and you can choose the color. It doesn't have to be black. You can give me the color if you end up winning the tee. So that's that. Just wanted to take a break, wanted to take a pause in the show to give you guys a reminder there. Before we move on to the next topic, I will check you guys out here in the chat. Okay, All Around Sports is saying I got to get going preparing for the NHL and NBA playoff prediction and previews for my channel. Hey, All Around Sports, well, I appreciate you for taking the time to tune in. Again, your support is more appreciated than you know. Hope you have a great show, and till next time. Okay, Doom Moose, just follow me on IG. Okay, so Doom over here might be winning a couple of Steezy tees. And I also do have hats. And so if you guys wear hats, if you guys wear beanies, I mean, I do have that. Oh, looks like we have our first super chat, man, courtesy of Sijin. Before I do get to that, though, Dune Moose, I made a promise, and I'm gonna hold myself to that. So, real quick here, let me get sticky notes. So, Dune Moose. Okay. So, Dune, I got your name down. Can you see that? I hope you can see that. Just follow me on IG. So I will enter your name into a drawing to win a free Steezy tee. But so far, your name is the only name on the list. And so you might just win it by default. But thank you for following me on Instagram. Again, I do post on there daily. So if you're looking for your daily dose of Seahawks content and coverage, again, at SteezySmith is a page that you want to follow for all that good stuff, right? One more time, follow me on Instagram at SteezySmith if you aren't already, and you'll be entered into a drawing to win a free custom team Steezy tee. And like Doom Moose just did, if you just follow me on Instagram, type "just followed you" in the chat, and I'll be sure to write your name down live on screen to make sure your entry is in for the drawing. So we got Doom Moose on there. And like I just said, man, we just talked about it. All super chats are greatly appreciated. And so with that being said, man, we do have our first super chat in the building, courtesy of Sijin, saying, come on, man. Sijin, man, thank you so much. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for that super chat. I truly, truly appreciate it. And Sijin, God bless you as always. But thank you. Right now, you are the leader as it pertains to the super chat donation person. I think you understand what I'm trying to get at, right? But Sajin, man, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Really, I really appreciate the super chat. Thank you so very much. We got Rhea in the building saying, I would love another Steezy tee. Hey, Rhea, well, I just laid it out for y'all. I think you already followed me on Instagram, so you wouldn't be eligible for that drawing. But Syjan is in the lead right now with a $5 super chat. If you want to beat that, then you would win another Steezy T. So let me know, Rhea. I mean, look, it's right there in front of you. Syjan is in the lead right now, though, with $5. So for those of you guys that are still tuned in, you have the opportunity to win a free Steezy T. Right now, it is Syjan's. So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens, y'all. The hat, brother, man. Ah, love hats. Matter of fact, let me actually show y'all. I'm about to drop this weekend. I'm going to just show y'all right now, though. Ooh. Hey, man. Ooh, wee. Oh, shoot. This one right here. And if you guys have been following me on Instagram or Snapchat or Facebook, I've had a couple of drops. I've dropped a couple of collections of Steezy hats. And I got to say, y'all, this upcoming collection that I'm dropping this weekend, it will be at a pop-up in Covington. I'm telling y'all right now, man, this collection, this upcoming Steezy collection for the caps, I'm telling y'all right now, man, I'm giving you guys a sneak preview here. I haven't shown nobody. So for those of you guys that are watching right now, whether you're on Facebook, whether you're on X, whether you're on YouTube, whether you're catching the replay, matter of fact, for those of you guys, because I don't ever really show love to the viewers that are catching the replay after the fact, I just want to say what's up. Hope you're having a blessed day. And thanks for tuning in, man. Thanks for tuning in. This is for the people that are watching the replay. But going back to regularly scheduled programming, going back to the audience in the live, get a look at this thing, man. Get a look at this thing right here. New era fitted, so it's official. But right here, y'all. Syjan, my brother, if you end up winning this super chat contest, it doesn't have to be a fitted hat. I don't know if you rock dad hats. I don't know if you rock snapbacks. I don't know if you rock, what are the other styles? Stretch fit type of hats, fitted hats. You let me know. But if you end up winning this super chat competition, hey, you've earned a hat. You've earned a hat, Syjan. So just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. One more time, though, y'all. Woo-wee. Man. That's sexy, man. That's sexy. That is sexy. So we just got done talking about Laken Tomlinson. I showed you guys my non-offensive line Seahawks big board, right? I've talked about how the interior defensive line is a bigger need than Seahawks fans realize. Now let's talk about some of these pre-draft visits. And I'm going to bring this up again. But like we covered, like we addressed at the top of the show, according to John Schneider himself, the Seahawks' final day to host all their top 30 visits is this Thursday, April 18th. And if I'm not mistaken, and if I have this down correctly, to my knowledge, the Seahawks have publicly hosted 22 of 30 top 30 visits thus far. And to break it down by position, it's been 3 quarterbacks, 1 running back, 1 receiver, 1 tight end, 3 offensive linemen, 2 edge rushers, 4 defensive linemen, 3 linebackers, 3 cornerbacks / DBs, and 1 safety. As you guys may or may not know, that safety is Cameron Kitchens. Just to kind of go through an overview of some of these players, in case you guys have missed it, right? The quarterbacks that the Seahawks have hosted: Spencer Rattler, Bo Nix, John Rice Plumlee from UCF, George Holani from Boise State, and that was broken by our very own G. Scott Jr. So shout out to G. Scott if you're watching it, or if you're tuning in, OG. The Yak King of college football from Western Kentucky, Malachi Corley. Ooh, I'm in love with this guy right here. Penn State tight end Theo Johnson. Offensive lineman Travis Glover, Matt Goncalves, and Mike Jarrell. Ooh, 2 edge rushers, Chop Robinson and Jared Verse. Some familiar faces here. On the defensive line, Christian Boyd, Grayson Murphy, Byron Murphy II, and Tavondre Sweat. At linebacker, Bo Richter, Nathaniel Watson, and Tyrese Knight. Cornerbacks and DBs, Michael Dowell, Quantez Stiggers, and like we just talked about earlier, Cooper DeJean. And we just talked about him, safety Cameron Kitchens. And as a reminder for you guys, the Seahawks did meet with a total of 17 prospects at the scouting combine, which now seems like ages ago. But just to kind of give you guys a small rundown of that, the quarterbacks that the Seahawks did meet with at the combine, Jane Daniels, Drake May, JJ McCarthy. I don't think that any of these guys are really going to be in play for the Seahawks in the first round, but I think it is important. It is noteworthy to kind of list these out. I think it does speak to what Seattle could potentially do later in the draft if you're meeting with all these quarterbacks. Wide receiver Jaquan Jackson, also kick returner and a punt returner at Tulane. Graham Barton and Zach Zinter. I think Zach Zinter from Michigan could be a target for the Seattle Seahawks on day 2, especially if in the first round they end up addressing edge rusher or the defensive line, right? And so Seattle goes Byron Murphy, Johnny Newton, Jared Verse, Laiatu Latu, or Dallas Turner. If they end up going that route, Chop Robinson, then on day 2, I think Zach Zinter could be a guy. From Florida State University, Jaheim Bell, defense lineman Braden Fisk, Johnny Newton, Chris Jenkins, again, Byron Murphy. At edge rusher, Braylon Trice, Seattle's very own from UW, Braylon Trice, Dallas Turner, Marshawn Nealand. Oh, and I love this right here, Junior Colson and Trevin Wallace. And last but certainly not least, Mike Sainistro from Michigan. Quite a few Michigan guys here, not just on defense, but obviously with the JJ McCarthy, right? There's some Michigan ties here amongst some of these prospects. But once again, all these names that I just listed, all these names that you guys have just seen, these are the 17 prospects that the Seahawks did meet with at the scouting combine. And one more time, just to kind of give a quick rundown. Out of all the top 30 visits that the Seahawks have taken with these draft prospects, the ones that have been made public, again, these are the names. I'm not going to say their names. I'll just kind of put them on the screen. But Chad, let me know what you guys think, man. Again, you guys are a little quiet today. Let me know what you guys are thinking, though, of some of these prospects. Let me know which prospects you'd want to see end up in Seattle. Let me know if there's any prospects you wouldn't want to see end up in Seattle. But I think right now, and kind of breaking these down and kind of looking through some of these names, I mean, there are a lot of defenders here. A lot of defenders. 3 quarterbacks, 1 running back, 1 wide receiver, 1 tight end, 3 offensive linemen, 2 edge rushers, 4 defensive linemen, 3 linebackers, 3 cornerbacks / DBs, and 1 safety. And so if we're going to do a quick count of just all the defenders that the Seahawks have brought in on the defensive side of the ball, that's what, 2, 6, 9, 12. That's 13 guys on defense. Out of 30 visits, pre-draft visits that the Seahawks get, they have spent so far 13 of them on defensive players. And a lot of these guys are projected to go in the first round. And so to me, that tells me that there's a very real possibility that the Seahawks don't go offensive line in the first round. And again, it's going to be one of these guys. If it's not an offensive lineman in the first round, it is going to be one of these guys. Let me bring up my big board real quick. And I do have an agreement. I do have a deal with Doom Moose. And so y'all make sure to hold me to that. But Byron Murphy, Jared Verse, Jazon Newton, Cooper DeJean, Chop Robinson, or Laiatu Latu. One more time, if it's not an offensive lineman, it is going to be one of these guys. Chat, talk to me, man. Talk to me, man. I'm going to go back to you guys here in the chat. Okay, Sajin, so going back to the cap, Sajin is saying fitted for me, brother, man. You like the colors. Okay, and so if you end up winning this super chat contest, are you cool with just the blue fitted? Because if so, we're gonna talk. We're gonna talk, Sandra. We're gonna talk. NBA update though. Okay, so Golden State calling their way back in. Sacramento is up 52-44 with 1:12 to go before halftime. Okay, Not Chief is saying finish sleep, bro. It's getting late out here. Peace out, Steezy. Hey, peace out, Not Chief. Have a great rest of your night, little bro. As always, man, I'm happy to have you here. Happy to see you here. And till next time. I still owe you a shirt though, Not Chief. So we will keep talking. But like I said, I'm still kind of waiting on your shirt to come in. But have a great night. Have a great night, brother. Have a great night. And here's a quick Mariners update. Mariners are up 2-1. Bottom of the 5th. Thank you for that, Sajin. And the young Meech is surprised here. Bo Richter, that's a new one I ain't heard. I haven't heard of that either. Now until I started doing some research. And so, yeah, definitely definitely intriguing to say the least. Sajin is saying, I don't care as long as our Seahawks address the trenches. And both of the trenches need to be addressed. Yes, it's the offensive line. It's more of a pressing need. But like I just illustrated earlier, I mean, some of these guys on the defensive line are a little older than you think. And so I don't think Seattle could go wrong here, whether it's addressing offense or defense. You need help in the trenches. So that's a great point there, Sajin. That's a great point. One more time, you guys, though, because I will be looking to wrap up this show within the next 15 minutes or so. Sajin is currently in the lead. He's currently leading the Super Chat contest with the $5 donation from earlier today. And so I just want to remind you guys, for those of you guys that are still in here, all Super Chats are greatly appreciated. And in regards to Super Chats, whoever finishes with the highest donation total will receive either a free custom Steezy tee or a custom free Steezy hat. So you guys have about 10 to 15 minutes to try to overtake Sajin in the Super Chat contest. But yeah, you guys, that's what I got going there. Dune Moose is saying, I think Jody was so disgusted with her near last ranked defense. She told John to get the right coach and right personnel. Okay, it's got to be a defender for the first Seahawks pick. And I know you're rooting for a defender, because you could potentially get a free tee if it's not one of the defenders that I listed. But Dune, you smart though. You smart. I see what you're trying to do. But again, there's a lot of truth to what you're saying. That's a great point. Sajin is saying, so glad Nwosu is back. Oh yeah, bro. Nwosu, before his injury, his season-ending pectoral injury last year, the Seattle Seahawks were a top 10 run defense by way of a lot of metrics. And so it was after he went down, everything kind of just fell apart. Boye Mafe wasn't nearly as effective in getting after the quarterback. The run defense ended up finishing amongst the league's worst. And so I'm not going to sit here and say that Uchenna Nwosu is the most valuable player on that Seahawks defense. He is up there. I think there's an argument to be made of Nwosu being a top 3 most valuable player, maybe even a top 2 most valuable player on that Seattle Seahawks defense. But for him to be back, that is absolutely huge. That's going to help Seattle's run defense. That's going to help Seattle's, obviously, ability to get after the quarterback. I mean, it's going to help everybody. So, Sajin now with our second Super Chat of the day. I think Sajin is going to run away with this. Sajin with another Super Chat. Thank you so much, my good brother. He is saying, give me the fitted, brother. Okay, well, Sajin, actually, matter of fact, while I have you here, because I could write this down now, barring anybody else stepping in and I guess winning this Super Chat contest, what's your size? Drop your size, your fitted size. Drop the color, or I guess you want this one, right? You're cool with the blue, with the all white. But drop your fitted size for me, Sajin, in the chat. And then if you want another color, you could also let me know. But if you just drop a size, I'm going to assume that you're cool with blue and white. But right now, yeah, I think Sajin, you are in the lead. And I will look to wrap this up probably right around 8:30 p.m. Pacific time. So you guys have another, 13, 14 minutes to see if you guys could try to pass Sajin here. But Sajin, once again, is in the lead. Okay, well, so Sajin, so the fitted sizes go by number. And so this one right here is a 7 3/8. And so if you go by like small, medium, or large, those are for the stretch fits. The fitted hats, though, they go by number. And so I think the smallest size, 6 7/8, and then it ranges up until 8. But look, no rush though, Sajin. Whenever you could figure out your fitted size, you might have to stop by a hat store, just because I'm not sure how else to kind of measure your head. But I do want to make sure that you have the right size for your hat. And Sajin over here is saying, blue is my fave. Hey, blue is one of my favorite colors too. It's up there. It's not green, but blue is pretty cool though. So I'm with you there, Sajin. One more time though, here's the hat. And if you can figure out your fitted size, you just let me know. Again, there's no rush, but Sajin, I really appreciate the super chats. And man, I hope you're enjoying the show though, y'all. I hope you're enjoying the show. let me see here. I'm not sure if there's anything else that I haven't addressed. I think for the most part, I have addressed what I've wanted to address for today's show. Give me just a second here, you guys, while I do. Actually, matter of fact, I want to put the thumbnail on the screen, y'all. Shout out to my guy Austin for this fire thumbnail. Let me just put this up on the screen while I kind of gather myself here. So just a All right, you guys. So I just wanted to revisit this because I think that this is kind of the basis of tonight's show. And I want to give you guys my theory one more time for those of you guys that might have missed it. With all these visits that the Seahawks have started to take in the last week or so, I think they've just become enamored with a lot of these defensive prospects. And a lot of these prospects are expected to go within the first 20 to 25 picks in the first round. And so I think that's why Laken Tomlinson was signed when he was signed. Yes, he's going to provide insurance in case, and like we just talked about, Seattle is enamored with a non-offensive line type of prospect in the first round. But when we go back to just the timing of it all, he was released all the way back in February. So why is it that Seattle waited just a few weeks prior to the draft to sign to a deal worth up to $4 million? And the last couple of years, if that's any indication, $4 million is starting guard or interior line money for the Seattle Seahawks. And so yes, that money kind of indicates that he is likely to be a starter. Now, if competition will be brought in, right? If he ends up losing a camp battle, then that might not be the case, but it's still great depth nevertheless. But I think one more time, I don't think it's a coincidence that Tomlinson was signed in the midst of all these pre-draft visits. Seattle just realized they can't pass up on some of these guys that they've been bringing in for visits. And so I think you kind of use Laken Tomlinson as a hedge in the event that they do bypass an offensive lineman in the first round, decide to address another position instead, just so you don't leave the draft with the cupboard fully bare, right? But I just wanted to kind of bring that up again, just because one more time, that is kind of the basis of this show. I am asking you guys, does the signing of a Laken Tomlinson impact or alter Seattle's draft strategy? I don't think that it affects their board all that significantly, but one more time, it provides Seattle with flexibility. It provides Seattle with insurance, and it allows Seattle to truly go best player available. Like if they believe that some of these defensive prospects that they have been bringing in for pre-draft visits, if they believe or have a lot of these guys ranked higher than a lot of the offensive linemen that are projected to go in the first round, then I truly believe that they will go in that direction. So again, chat, before we do call it a wrap, before we do call it a night for tonight's show, talk to me, you guys, and answer this question for me. Do you believe that the signing of a Laken Tomlinson means that the Seahawks are no longer going to draft a first-round lineman or no longer draft an offensive lineman in the first round? You guys let me know. Okay, so Sajin is saying 6 and 7/8. It is then. Okay, well, I will write that down. 6 and 7/8. Blue. Okay, Sajin, and we will keep in touch, whether that's on Facebook or on X. I just want to make sure that I'm sending you the right hat, the right size. I don't want to send you a hat that doesn't fit. And so if 6 and 7/8 is the size that you're giving me, I will take your word for it. But again, it seems to me like you might be new to the fitted game. And so I just want to ensure that you're getting the right size and the right hat. I don't want to send you a hat that doesn't fit. So if you could confirm or verify that whenever you have an opportunity, you just give me a holler. Besides, is asking Adams, what's the story with him nowadays, as well as Diggs? Well, the safety market, with it being as oversaturated as it still is, I mean, Justin Simmons, for crying out loud, is still a free agent. I think teams are able to wait until after the draft to be able to sign a Quandre Diggs, to be able to sign a Jamal Adams. Ultimately, I do predict that Jamal Adams will end up back in Seattle on a veteran minimum deal after the draft. But with the Quandre Diggs, I mean, I can see him in Kansas City. I could see him in Philadelphia. I could see him back in Detroit. But as of right now, there hasn't really been any word on both of those guys. But I'd expect both of them to find homes sometime after the draft. We got Jackie Reyes in the building saying, hello, Steezy. Jackie coming in kind of late here. But Jackie, I appreciate you for being in the building. And man, I hope you're having a great night. Thank you. Hamza is saying Tomlinson allows us to go best player available, and he will be great with the good O-line and not what he had last year. Oh, no doubt. No doubt. No doubt. Thank you for tuning in, Hamza. Miss seeing you here, though. Miss seeing you in here. Doom Moose is saying, I was so close to super chatting 10:01. LOL. Enjoy your cap, Sijin. Hey, Doom. And look, this is a one-time offer. If you do decide to super chat $10 or more, both of you guys will receive Team Steezy hats. Both of you guys will receive Team Steezy hats. Because I don't want to alienate Sajin and say that, oh, because somebody beat you out, with 1 cent more, then, oh, you win the hat. Matter of fact, both of y'all will win a hat if you do end up sending that super chat over $10. Both of y'all will end tonight with a hat. How about that? But Sajin is saying, thanks to you, Dune Moose. Hamza is saying, my bad, fam, got caught up with the plan today. Hey, you all good. Hamza. It's funny because prior to going live, I was actually watching the play myself, and the Lakers were up, I think, by 2 with less than 10 seconds to go. And then it was 6:58, 6:59. I was like, I got to go live in 2 minutes. So I'm going to have to catch the game after the fact. But you guys have been saying this in the chat. I mean, the Lakers did end up being the Pelicans. So, man, it was expected. And, yeah, no, you all good. You all good, Hamza. You all good. But Jackie's saying going to bed because it's bedtime, but watching this tomorrow morning. Well, thank you, Jackie. I hope you sleep well tonight. Thank you for tuning in. Sajin said my brother is about to Judas me. LOL. Nah, I mean, like I said, Doom Moose is a regular here. So, I do want to reward him. I want to reward y'all both. If Doom ends up wanting to send that super chat. But yeah, no, Sajin, I wasn't gonna take that away from you. You've earned that. But yeah, Doom, if you're still in the building, that hat is waiting for you. So you just let me know. You give me a holla. But I do have you in that drawing to win a free tee. And I appreciate the follow on Instagram. We do have a bet also in place. And so I have both those written down. I can't always go back and I guess watch the show myself. But I won't forget those. I won't forget those bets. I won't. All right, y'all. Well, that just about does it for tonight's show. We got one more. We got Rhea here saying have a blessed night and stay safe, Calvin. Hey, I hope you have a blessed night yourself, Rhea. Thanks for always taking the time to tune in. Always happy to see you here. Until the next show, Rhea. But to everybody that's still out here, as I like to say, y'all, Steezy out here in just a little bit. Sajin is saying, just kidding, bro. If we can't laugh at one another, then what good are we? That's a great point. I mean, especially if, there's good intentions right behind us kind of joking with each other, then, 1000%. I think that if you can't take a joke in today's society, then shoot, you're almost no fun, right? But Sajin, brother, I truly appreciate the 2 super chats. You've earned yourself, one of these hats. And if you can confirm with me right now, if that size is 6 7/8, I will look to get that locked in for you. But yeah, if it's 6 7/8, just kind of give me a confirmation chat down below. And to everybody else out there, I had a blast with you guys. I love talking Seahawks football with you guys. If you guys want to hop on a future show as a guest, If you guys want to react to the draft after the fact, then you let me know, man. If you guys are already following me on Instagram, on X, then be sure to give me a follow one more time. On Instagram, it is at SteezySmithTV. And then on X, it is just at SteezySmith to kind of keep up to date. Again, I'm not on YouTube daily, but I am on those two platforms daily. I'm more on here weekly, but I'm looking to kind of do this more. I do need to do this more. But just to everybody that's tuned in, to everybody that will tune in, to everybody that's going to catch the replay, I hope you enjoy the show. I hope you all have a blessed rest of your night. I sure had a great time. I hope you guys did too. Hamza with the salute. Nothing but love for you guys, though. But I will call it a night. Sajin is saying you good, man. Love your content. Peace be with you. Peace be with you always, brother. God bless you, man. God bless you. God bless you. But all right, y'all, that's that. Steezy out, baby. All glory to God as always. Y'all have a blessed rest of your night, man. It's a wrap. Again, this video is going to be dedicated to Mr. Todd Nas. While that concludes this video, we have loads of other content. You don't have to stop watching there. Other content on our channel homepage, as well as our social media platforms. And again, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for us. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Nothing but love, and Steezy out.